live. Thanks for being with us, and welcome to another show. I am Todd T. Riley.
Scott Johnston.
And I'm Dee Johnson.
And we are The
Sound Effect.
So our special in-guest studio tonight is a pretty cool guy. It's local. He's done a lot of really cool videos for some local bands and some other big name bands you might have heard about, such as Camelot. And he's a filmmaker. He is a musician. And musician-turned-filmmaker Thomas Crane of killDevilFilms and singer-guitarist of the band Marion Crane. Welcome to the show, Thomas. Appreciate you being here, man.
Anytime. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for coming in tonight. We appreciate that a lot. So
we got many videos and films you've been working on. You know, we're going to be playing some of those videos from both Marion Crane and a couple of the other bands that he's been working with. And then he's going to be performing you know, in studio. I want you guys to be sure to stick around so you can do that. It's going to do an acoustic of one of the songs. So, and also don't forget, we got a show poll that you guys hopefully have already voted on. It's who's the better guitarist, Dee Vi or Joe Satriani? And we will be sharing the results with that and talking about your comments.
if you haven't voted on that already, you can go to our Facebook page and scroll down just a little bit. You'll find that on there. Make sure you get your votes in while you still can. We'll talk about that a little later in the show. One of the bands, as a matter of fact, the videos we're going to play, it's going to be near the end of the night. You've had him in here before. You've seen Wade Black, and we're going to be playing Wade's video from I keep wanting to say Game of Thrones, man.
He's in a few different bands, and
yeah, War of Thrones. We're going to play that
awesome,
War of Thrones
awesome.
video again, so make sure you stick around for that. But first, let's get into some music and entertainment news. So 50 years ago, January 12th, 1969, a relatively unknown band formed out of the Yardbirds' ashes and recorded their debut album. That was spearheaded by a brilliant guitar player, one of the all-time greats, Mr. Jimmy Page. Last week we had his birthday, and rolling right up into the 50-year anniversary of the very first Led Zeppelin album. And along with the undeniable vocals of Robert Plant, solid bass lines of John Paul Jones, and the hard-hitting drums from John Bonham, the band was predicted to go down like a Led Zeppelin by Keith Moon, who was the drummer for The Who, and that's where they got their name from. However, they obviously did just the opposite of that. They became one of the greatest bands of all time, and with an incredible and very diverse style, Led Zeppelin 1 became one of the greatest albums of all time. I mean, that album is just loaded with some classics like I Can't Quit You Baby, Communication Breakdown, Babe I'm Gonna Leave You, Good Times, Bad Times, and the incredible Dazed and Confused with that guitar solo where he plays the violin bow.
Was that the first time? I wonder if that was like the first time they did that.
You know, as far as I know, it was. Yeah, Zeppelin was cool. a milestone band when it comes to rock and metal and stuff, you know. So,
I don't know. I get
no one's ever going to touch what Zeppelin's done.
Now this is the, you know, Keith Moon. When you mentioned Keith Moon, this is like there's like a Facebook thing that keeps popping up on my feed that says, you know, party like Keith Moon or something. It's the same guy. Is that
that would be the same guy?
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, very cool. Very cool.
So, also, January 14th, 1954, Marilyn Monroe married Joe DiMaggio of the New York Yankees. January 17th, 1920, Prohibition happened here in the United States. It was a nationwide constitutional ban of the production, importation, transportation, and sale of alcoholic beverages. That took place from midnight, January 17th, 1920, all the way up to December 5th, 1933.
Can you imagine that? That's crazy. That's a long time.
Yeah.
People would go nuts nowadays
go nuts
without
now,
alcohol.
yeah.
There would be like road rage.
Way too many alcoholics in the world.
Left and right.
Same thing is happening with marijuana. I mean, come on, man. This should have been done, legalized a long time ago. I mean, yeah, I know it's about the bucks, and you know, as far as I'm concerned, they just figured out how they can make money off of it now, and that's why they're
You think
That's why
with
they're
government
going for it.
regulation, they'd be making a killing off of that.
Absolutely.
Taxing it and stuff like that. January 18th, 1778, the English navigator James Cook discovered Hawaii on his third voyage in his discovery aboard his ship Resolution. January 19th, 1903, sports promoter and journalist Henry Desgrange announced plans to hold a 2,500 to 3,000 mile race called Tour de France. And that was with 60 top cyclists competing way back then. 1903, I didn't realize it was that old.
I didn't
So,
either. That's crazy.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
It seems like yesterday.
Yeah. 1971, the Beatles song Helter Skelter was played in the trial of one Mr. Charles Manson, Psycho.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So, and then of course they made the famous movie Helter Skelter
Yeah.
about him. So what's going on with the birthdays this month there, Dee?
Well, we
Dee
have a
Lee,
couple
this
people in the
week,
chat
rather.
room that are
Yeah, what are they saying?
Natasha's here.
Cool.
And
up, Natasha?
Corrine,
Thanks for watching.
Courtney.
Hi,
Also-
Corinne.
Let's see. Barb Myers is here, and Robert Westbury. He said, "Miss you, brother." To you, Thomas.
Oh, what's up, Radical Rob?
Radical Rob.
Radical
Yeah, it's his
Rob.
name. That's his
Yeah.
name.
That's a
I like
good-
that.
good
Yeah,
name.
that's
There you
good.
go.
And
That's good.
Mr. Chris Stephen Gifford said, "Hurry the hell up, my brothers." Okay. There's a couple more
Shout out to
comments.
Chris. Chris
Chris.
was one of our bass players in Money Shot. We had a lot of good times,
Funny.
and some of those good times I can't remember, but I know we had fun. Because if I could remember them, they probably weren't that much fun, you know.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, brother.
Cool.
It's great.
Very cool.
Great to see you on there, man.
Well, let's see, we have some famous birthdays this week. Yesterday, the 14th, in 1741, Benedict Arnold. He was the U.S. general turned traitor in the American Revolutionary War. So he was born. And Jeff Tate, the vocalist, well, former vocalist, or are there still two Queensryches? I don't remember what the
Well,
dilemma
there's
is
Jeff
on
Tate's
that.
Queensryche, and
Yeah.
then there's Queensryche with Todd Latour from
yeah.
Local Guy. So
But he turned 60.
Jeff Tate's my personal favorite
Yeah.
vocalist of all time. Yeah.
Well-
Queensryche's my favorite band, so we got to get
That
Todd
makes
in
sense.
here.
Kind of biased, yeah. And then Zach Wilde, he turned 52.
Zach.
Ozzy and
Wow.
Black Label. And Jason Bateman, actor, he's 50 years old.
Got a cool story about Zach.
Okay.
You remember when Thoroughbred Guitar Store used to be going on?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
before it turned into Sam Ash over there? Well, they had they used to have a guitar show going on there all the time, and they have all these major musicians that would come in, and they would all do little sessions and things like that, and question and answer and meet and greets and sign some autographs, and then at the end of the night they'd all get up and jam. Well, I'm sitting upstairs and trying to impress this girl, and
gosh.
Zach comes walking upstairs
We've all been there.
from the other side of the room. Zach throws his arms up and goes, "Todd!"
You're
Comes
like,
running
impressed
over and gives
worked.
me, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like that's how you impress somebody. But he came over, gave me a hug. I was blown away that he actually remembered me
Isn't that
because I had
funny?
met him, I
All the
think,
people they met.
like a year before in Livestock, and had introduced him on stage and stuff. And I mean, you got somebody like that who's touring the world with Ozzy.
Yeah, I mean,
And
he's
he's
met a lot of
meeting
people,
thousands of
he
people.
meets probably hundreds of people a day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hundreds a day, but he remembered me.
And I think
it blew my mind.
I think
so.
he drinks a little bit too.
Very
So I
cool.
mean, heck, that's a challenge. Just
Oh, yeah,
remembering what he
right.
did last week.
He was always a partier. He was drinking up a storm.
I think
with
he
Livestock,
stopped for a while, but I don't know.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I
But
stopped for a while because I ran
I
out.
was very, very impressed with that. Extremely impressed that he remembered my name. He remembered me. He
Yeah.
walks up. He's like, "I'm so glad there's somebody here I know." And I'm like,
You're like,
I'm
wow.
like, "Ozzy, Zach knows me. Sweet." I didn't know he knew me.
Well, today, the 15th, we have Jean, or how would you say it? Jean Bugatti?
Jean.
Jean
Bugatti.
1909, he's a German-born automobile designer. Of course, Bugatti Veyron. I want one of those.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
sold mine.
Oh, darn it.
Better start raking in the bucks for that.
couldn't
man.
really-
I know.
Well, it was a Hot
Aren't
Wheels
they
car,
like
dude.
No.
150,000 or something like that, or maybe more? Maybe some of them are up there, I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Martin Luther King, everybody knows who he was, American clergyman and civil rights activist. Every street's named after him.
Yeah.
He was born in 1929.
It's where you'll find the best barbecue.
Yeah.
Go to
That's
any
for
town,
sure.
find that street,
Yeah.
and you'll find the best barbecue. in town.
Exactly. Ronnie Van Zant, so he was from Leonard Skinner. He was born in 1948 and in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
So it says.
That was a joke by my friend Johnny B, by the way. He's a comedian. So
Oh, okay. And also.
Sorry, I stole that from you, Johnny.
Oh, okay. Tomorrow, the 16th, we had Andre Michelin from the tire manufacturer.
The tire dude.
1853. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
the tire.
And Frank.
1853. I didn't even realize tires were around that long.
Me either. Well, he was a French industrialist as well.
Well, you know, the car was invented somewhere within that realm, so, I mean, tires
They were
haven't been around
skinnier,
that
like
long.
maybe bike
Very
tires.
true.
So
Very true.
that's why I say that. So
We also had
that was
Anne Frank,
early 1900s. So.
too. She was born in 1900. She was the mother of the Holocaust. And Kate Moss, she's 45.
And hot.
And
When I kicked her out of bed, she didn't look quite the same way.
Yeah.
It wasn't even her.
Your wife's not watching it, right?
No, my wife is probably watching the show. This, you know, everybody's got a history before you get together, and you know, I told Kate, you got to get out of here. Just not going to put up with this actor lifestyle, actress lifestyle. I just can't handle it.
Sure.
Yeah, and that didn't happen. So.
we have a few more birthdays.
Keep interrupting.
That's funny. On Thursday, the 17th, was Benjamin Franklin, the U.S. founding father. He was born in 1706. That's crazy. And Betty White, she's almost a founding mother. She's been around for a long time. She's 97.
She's awesome.
I know, she's
97.
funny.
Yeah,
That's what keeps her young, because
yeah,
she's
still
hilarious.
killing it, man. Golden Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Golden Girls.
Isn't she the only one left from the
I
Golden
think she
Girls?
might be.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I can honestly say I don't follow the Golden Girls to know,
Yeah.
Well,
but
they're
I know Betty
hilarious.
White's, you know,
The
she's pretty cool.
grandmother, she's
Yeah.
hilarious. And let's see, Vidal Sassoon, hairstylist and CEO. He was born in 1928. Muhammad Ali, 1942.
Float like a butterfly,
Right.
sting like a bee.
Fly like a butterfly. What did
Float.
float?
No, it's float.
Float.
Spoke.
Okay, well I'm wrong.
Butterflies float.
There's a one time I've been wrong.
Hey, at least he admitted it.
This
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
We also have Steve Harvey. He's a radio personality, and I think he does some
And now the
game
rest of
shows,
the story.
right? He's 68.
Actually, he's most famous for his rest of the story
Oh, okay.
series on radio and stuff. So.
He's
Well,
60.
and also naming the wrong winner of that show. Unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's funny. And Jim Carrey, he's 57.
Wow.
Tomorrow, 1962.
Let me show you something.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I loved him in
He's
Living
an
Color.
artist, too. He's just
Oh yeah,
really
that was the
awesome.
best, man. And
Yeah,
Living
his
Color
80s
was
That
awesome.
was awesome.
Yeah.
When you see him doing, he was on a few like talk shows and like Living Color. He was fantastic. He was
Oh,
just,
God.
you could tell this guy was a genius. And
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, spectacular.
Incredibly entertaining just to
The Claw.
watch him talk.
My
Fire
favorite
Marshal
stuff
Bill.
by him was, when Fire Marshal Bill and all
Yeah.
that, when
Oh,
he was on in
gosh.
Living
Oh,
Color
yeah.
was just spectacular. One of my favorite skits ever was when he did the Vanilla Ice one, called it
Oh.
Ice Ice Baby. Or he called it So Very White Baby.
Remember you did that like that? I forgot what her name was, but the weightlifter girl or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She's taking like horse pills or
Steroids
something
or
like that.
something. Oh, no.
Yeah, that was great.
So on the flip side of the coin, we've had some deaths. Monday the 14th, yesterday, Humphrey Bogart died in 1957. Ray Kroc, a fast food entrepreneur and owner of San Diego Padres, he died of a heart failure, and that was back in 1984. Renee Angelil, am I pronouncing that right? I think I did.
Sounds about
Something
right.
like
That
that.
sounds pretty close.
We'll let you get away with it.
Canadian music executive, actor, director, husband of Celine Dion. He died of throat cancer at 73 in 2016. With that said, today, the 15th, Dan Haggerty, he passed. That's Grizzly Adams. That might be before some people's time. He died of cancer, 73. Again, that's 2016.
Used to watch that all the time when I was a kid.
That Little House on the Prairie.
Nah, Grizzly. Yeah, well,
Grizzly
actually I watched
Adams.
that too.
Grizzly
Yeah,
Adams,
but Grizzly Adams is cool. The
also-
bear.
Also, and that's this is recent.
I didn't even realize this,
really.
that she'd passed. No.
Well, tune into the show. You find the stuff out.
Yeah, this news to me.
Last year, Dolores O'Riordan. I'm probably messing that one. I knew O'Riordan.
O'Riordan.
O'Riordan. That's what I meant to say. You know, Irish
could be
musician. I'm not going to do that.
Cranberries.
Singer-songwriter. She's from the Cranberries, and she drowned in her bathtub at age 46.
That's sad.
That is sad.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that
That'd be
going
tough to
on
do-
with
what,
Whitney
drowning in a bathtub?
Houston and her daughter too.
Yeah.
It didn't
I
even-
tried to drown in the bathtub. It didn't work.
Oh, see how long you can hold your breath.
How
We've all
much
done
water
that.
was in the tub?
There was a lot of water, but it was sitting up. So, I mean, that's part of the problem. I don't know. We had, on the 16th, 1979, Ted Cassidy. He was Lurch from the Addams Family. 2013, Abigail Van Buren, Pauline Phillips, actually. American columnist, radio show host. Best known for, that's Dear Abby.
Yeah.
Dear Abby. Everybody's heard of Dear Abby. Also,
What a lot of people don't realize, their twin sister, advice columnist Ann Landers.
Right.
yeah,
Also,
yep. 2018, David Holland, English heavy metal rocker, Judas Priest, you know, breaking the law. You know, you don't have to really say anything. I mean, you know who they are. He died at age 69. As far as the rest of the week goes, you know, back in 1893, a couple years ago,
Just a couple years back.
It was a couple
Hayes,
years ago, 1893.
Yeah, just a couple years back.
our 19th president, Rutherford Hayes, died. He's a Republican, maybe that's part of why. Dies of a heart attack. Also in 1927, we got Juliette Gordon Law, the founder of the Girl Scouts, died from breast cancer.
Ate too many cookies.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what her favorite cookie was. She's probably rolling over in her grave right now. Going, you know, I had the Girl Scouts, and then they want boys to join, and then boys wanted to join the Girl Scouts, and now we just got, you just call them Scouts, because you don't even know what it
Brownies.
is anymore. That's so stupid, but that's just my opinion, anyways. But whatever. Also, we have in 2012 Johnny Otis. Is an R&B musician, producer, talent scout. He died at age 90.
Yeah, he was known as the godfather of rhythm and blues.
Was he?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not as familiar with him as some of the other guys in the blues, but
Understandable.
you know, last year Simon Shelton Barnes, British actor, dies of hypothermia at 52. And what's interesting about this guy, because a lot of you guys probably won't know this. He was Tinky Winky on the Teletubbies.
I know.
Teletubbies,
I never
man.
put that one on there.
Well, you got kids, so you get that.
I got kids, Teletubbies. I mean, I'm going to tell you something straight out. The biggest concert, you know, nowadays to pack a stadium, you got to have, you know, it wasn't just a handful of bands. I mean, you got to put a lot of people on the bill to pack the stadiums. And I'm going to tell you what, the Wiggles, they packed the joint. I mean, packed it. I've never seen anything like this. Talk about like MILFs everywhere. I mean, it was crazy.
Oh no.
Yeah, you want to be
It was crazy.
successful, man.
Do something for the
Do
kids.
something for the kids, and they'll
Yeah.
pack the place out. Yeah.
So you got,
think
you know,
from, like,
and they
5
all
to,
do
like,
like the
20
rainbow.
So there you go,
colors.
Thomas. You want to have a successful music career? Start a kids show. Some kids music.
So, but I mean, that's about it for deaths. Not that we want any more, anyways. But so as far
I
as that
just
goes-
like to let you know what's going on with famous people in history and stuff like that, you know. So coming up here on Sunday, February 3rd at 6 o'clock, 6:30 actually, Super Bowl 53. And next week, as a matter of fact, as you know, we're going to have Earl Christie, who played in Super Bowl III with Joe Namath. He's a good friend of mine. He'll be in the studio with us, along with Michael Clayton, who played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he was in Super Bowl 46 with the New York Giants, one of the only two teams, and the Giants team, that beat the Patriots in the Super
So
Bowl.
crazy. Super Bowl
So,
3. That's crazy.
Both those guys will be in here next week, and they just announced this year's halftime show, and that's going to be featuring Maroon 5, Travis Scott, and Big Boy. So that'll be pretty cool, and we'll be talking all about that and everything next week. So make sure you tune in for that.
Now, this is newsworthy, but it's kind of funny. I mean, a lock of Marilyn Monroe's hair is up for sale. And I'm sure, you know, when you're thinking about, boy, what do I get somebody that has everything? Well, this still might be a little bit out of your budget. A 60-year-old clipping of hair that reportedly belonged to Marilyn Monroe is available for sale. We learned that from Fox News on Monday. You can purchase it for a measly $16,500. You know, just
Break out the checkbook, man.
oh yeah, you know, approximately 35 strands worth. I mean, what did they count them?
I know you can't even count
Well,
it
the
'cause it's all
hairstylist.
sealed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
her hairstylist.
Does it come
kept-
with a certificate of authenticity or something? Would you sign this? I'm going to sell your hair when
Actually,
you die.
it comes in a specially designed glass case with a framed photo of her, and prize packages dated even all the way back June 14th, 1959.
I mean, this comes from you know, Kenneth Patel. He's a hairstylist to the stars. And basically, you know, obviously she was a blonde bombshell from 1958 till her death at 1962 at age 36. The hair comes with specially designed glass with a framed photo of the movie star and a prize package dated the 14th of June 1959. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. I can get you some of her hair at a lot cheaper price, and it's going to be more than 35 strands. As a matter of fact, you can name how many strands you want, and you know, the starting bid is probably going to be like 5,000, give or take, you know, 1,005 or something like that. But and I got other people's hair for sale too.
Well, you know what? Can
just
you
like this guy
imagine
probably
all
did.
these hairstylists that do the celebrities? They probably, like, when they leave, they're like, hurry, back it up quick.
I'm sweeping the floor.
I know.
That was actually kind of a smart thing to do with somebody in her fame.
I know.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, is this Marilyn Monroe's or just Joan Crawford? What the hell? They ain't gonna know the difference. It's not blonde anyway. Is that what's? I mean, I thought she was a blonde. Obviously, she wasn't a real blonde. Well,
Yeah, allegedly had several pieces of her hair that he gave as gifts to his closest friends throughout the
what the
years.
hell kind of
So-
gift is that?
No, right.
Yeah, for Christmas, like, here's some hair. I mean, what the hell am I gonna do? Are you gonna? You
take
come
it.
over to my house and on display?
Yeah,
Check it out. That's
kinda
Marilyn
cool,
Monroe's
actually,
hair.
in a way. Somewhat. Guess it all
It's
depends
not.
on your
It's
opinion
not
of cool.
$16,500
curious how they
worth
got
of
it,
cool,
you know?
though. I don't think. I mean, again, my opinion, but you know, whatever. It is what it
Yeah,
is.
but-
It is what it is.
What does your opinion matter?
It never does. I mean, you know what? How they do, like, you know, make an offer on eBay. I'd make an offer like $10.
Yeah, right.
Lowball
right.
them a little bit.
So, NAMM is going on this month, January 24th to 27th. In case you don't know, that is the National Association of Music Merchants that was established in 1901, not-for-profit association that strengthens the $17 billion global music, sound, and event technology products industry. Trade shows go on all the time with professional musicians being there, all kinds of people coming in to check out the music and recording technology, new stage lighting, sound, and all that good stuff, and
Yeah.
usually performances from great musicians and all the, you know, guitar players and the guitar manufacturers and different instrument manufacturers all have the new models out for display and stuff like that. And so it's a pretty
Yeah.
cool
Great place
thing. Have
to
you ever
go.
been to NAMM?
I haven't been. I honestly, this is going to sound funny. I have no interest in going to NAMM. But our guitar player Chris goes every year, and he's going this year, so he'll be there. He's got a company he's launching, so.
Nice.
Good
I've
place
always
to
wanted
try
to
get
go
endorsed.
personally. Yeah,
You know, if you're
absolutely.
trying to get endorsed by. I mean, I know a lot of people that have gone out there, made connections, and you know, next thing you know, they got an endorsement.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, my friend JC takes his guitars and goes to NAMM with him. Hopefully he'll finish my guitar really soon.
Yeah, your inlays are a challenge nowadays.
Yeah, my inlays in particular. Stupid music notes, I had to go that route, didn't
And
I?
then the inlays on the guitar are actually difficult too. All right, so you know, guys,
You'll see it hanging on the wall when it is done.
He has to play it.
So the Grammys is 4 weeks away. You know, last I heard, they don't have a host. You know, and this is the ceremony. Everything is on February 10th. Now,
That's
here's
pretty close to not have a host lined up.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know how much I freak out if we don't have a guest lined up. I mean, imagine not having a host for this big deal. Now, I'm just going to add this. I mean, there's a couple people playing around, but here's a serious offer you got to consider. Cheech and Chong said that they would do your event. And there's one thing I can promise you, I guarantee you, that will be the highest viewer rating you're ever going to get, and that's it. That's all I got to say about that. So good luck. Hopefully you guys find somebody to DJ the show. I mean, you know, host the show.
Is Tommy Chong still in prison? Did he go to prison for?
Did he?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Oh, really?
It was ridiculous.
What did he go to prison for?
I don't know. You guys got Google? I don't know.
Nice.
You should.
Not during the show,
he went to
man.
prison. It
We
was
don't Google during
for.
the show.
It was something ridiculous.
It wasn't marijuana
For
related
getting high?
or whatever.
I don't even think it was that.
public?
It was like.
For some reason, I want to say it had something to do with like bongs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
was
it's
like
something
maybe
real
he was
stupid.
selling it across state lines or something like that.
Something stupid like that.
It was ridiculous, but yeah.
So I gave him a Dave's Not Here T-shirt, except my old band was Dave's Not Here. He came into town doing
That's
comedy
cool.
skit one night, so I gave him that and one of our CDs. He signed it for me. It was cool.
Let's check out you know, what's going on in the local scene and unsigned artists.
Wait, someone
What
said
was that?
Kyle is selling paraphernalia over state lines.
There you go. Okay,
Hey,
so that
thanks,
was
guys.
That'll do it.
that was
He
a
was-
good. Good
He was
guest
on the
this week
Masked
from us.
Singer last week.
Was that?
He
Was
was
he
on
on
the
it?
Masked Singer last week. Oh, that new
Well,
show.
then I
I
guess
haven't watched
he's
that
not
yet.
in jail.
I guess he's not in jail anymore.
Tommy Chong was singing.
I guess that's
Really?
what someone
I
said.
might have to
Okay.
dig that
We'll have to
episode up and
fact
check
check
that
that
out.
before we,
Yeah.
you know,
No,
throw
actually,
that
I
out.
Thank
saw
you.
the
Really
previews
was.
on that. Yeah.
I'm glad he's.
Tongs bongs.
I didn't know he could sing. Well, man. Anyways,
Cool. Let's move
I
on.
was like Beaner.
That's funny. For real, he was busted.
All right, before we go any further, first off, I just want to say thank you very much to Doug Myers because he's come in here to help us out
Yay.
tonight. Those little mistakes you just saw, that was partially my fault. So,
He usually is.
yeah, I mean, what can you say?
If things are going good, I mean, you know, you usually can talk to me and D.
It's good, it's not
If
my
a problem. It's probably Todd.
Yeah, blame it on me. I'll take the blame. But thanks so
Absolutely.
much, Doug. Appreciate you being in here, man. Thanks
Cool.
for coming in and helping us out. So, The Who just announced their 2019 North American Moving On Tour. That's going to be coming to Emily Arena Sunday, September 22nd. They are also set to release their very first new album in 13 years. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m., so check that out. That's
How
going to
old
be
are
a
those
really
guys?
cool show.
Are they like 70?
I don't know, but they recently, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, they did their 50-year anniversary tour, and I saw that. That was an excellent show.
That's crazy.
So, but more shows coming up this month in January. The Righteous Brothers, Van Wezel Performing Arts Center in Sarasota. Sarasota.
That's Sarasota,
I can't
Florida, ladies
speak
and
tonight.
gentlemen.
What the heck? Sarasota. Monty Python Spamalot on the 19th, Ruth Eckerd Hall, and Cher. Here We Go Again tour. That's coming to Emily Center
Everybody's
in
doing
Orlando.
As a matter of fact, Cher
Here we go again.
plays a few different places in Florida, and what I thought was pretty interesting. Like she does one show, then she takes a day off, does another show, takes a day off, and I mean it's just solid like that. She did take Tuesday off, so she'll be tuning into the show.
That's good.
You know,
Yeah.
talk to her personally, or at least she looked like Cher, anyways. So
Need to get her hold of her publicist and make sure she's tuned in, right?
yeah,
So-
do an interview with her on the show, or
That would be awesome.
maybe her hair.
Gladys Knight's coming. Ruth Eckerd Hall, Clearwater. She's also going to be at the Van Wezel Performing Arts Center in Sarasota. She'll be here on the 25th and down in Sarasota on the 26th. Mark Anthony at the Amway Center in Orlando on the 27th.
Now, Ruth Eckerd Hall, they also got, well, we're going into February. We got the Mavericks are coming. On February 4th, Seven Dust at the Revolution, and that's in Fort Lauderdale. I remember going down with my brother-in-law, Jay, and we actually went down there, had pizza at California Kitchen with the guys. The guys are just cool, very
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, they're real cool.
Also, they're playing on the 5th at Janice Live in St. Petersburg.
Got to go to that one.
Yeah, that's going to be sweet.
We'll try to get an interview for you guys.
No, you know what though? That's on a Tuesday, so
Is
I'm
that
not.
a
I won't
Tuesday?
be here that
Oh,
day.
you got to be kidding me.
No, I mean I won't be here.
Figures.
Maybe I could do an interview because I might be there. On the 7th, Patti LaBelle at Ruth Eckerd Hall again.
Think you're special or something?
I am special, and that's has nothing to do with the bus I got here. That's small and short and all that good stuff. Saving Abel at Johnny G's in Lakeland, Florida. That's on February 8th. We've got Carol Burnett on February 12th at Ruth Eckert Hall.
That'd actually be pretty cool to see.
Actually, it would.
Yeah.
And then the other one, Herbie Hancock at Ruth Eckert Hall on the 15th of February.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Got some
A
good
lot of
shows
people
coming up for sure.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other ones. We'll tell you more about those as time goes by next week and stuff. So we want to get on to our guest.
Yeah,
And
that's
we
what I've
want to
been waiting
welcome
for the whole time.
Thomas Crane to the studio with us once again. Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate you being in here, brother.
Oh, anytime.
And we're going to be discussing his band and his films. And first off, before we really get into anything with this interview, we want to show you a couple of clips that he has. We're going to show you the promo that he has for his film stuff, which will show you a bunch of clips from, what is it? What's on that promo, by the way?
Is it the
2019 one?
Yeah,
The
it's
latest?
basically the most recent stuff I've done. I can't remember how many it is. It's like 7 or 8 or 9.
Yeah, so it's got video clips from bands, and it's got stuff from your movies.
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah, it's got like Eve Adam and shoot, there's a lot in there.
Yeah, nice.
Trying to.
All
Nice.
compiled.
So we're going to show you the promo, and then right after that, we're going to show you the video for his band Chemical Burn from the band Marion Crane.
Good song.
And it is a great song.
Get
Love
stuck
it a
in your
lot.
head.
Yeah.
No,
So let's kick that off and check it out, and you get to see what Thomas is capable of doing. He's an excellent filmmaker, and you're going to like it. So here is his promo and his video. Check it out.
The time has come, I can see it in your eyes. It's the little things that destroy this confidence, leaving me astray, leaving me today. You're gone. This imbalance I can't mend. Things will escalate, left alone inside this head, and I'm murdering everything I can.
And we're back. That was Marion Crane. Is that pronounced correct?
That's
correctly?
correct.
Yeah. Chemical Burn. What a great song, great video.
Great song.
And so you shot your own video, huh?
Yeah, that was funny how that kind of worked out. And this happens frequently. That was like our third location, I think. We did that in a warehouse in like a couple hours. Really simple, and we just wanted to put something out and have something visual with it, not just put out a blank video or something.
Sure. So as a video guy, you know, I like to curious on your process on that. Obviously, you're performing in the video, so do you set up multiple cameras for that and do multiple shoots at once, or do you do a one camera shoot and then change the camera again?
Well, for that particular one, I only do one camera. I actually put the camera, for my stuff, I put the camera on a crane and I set the shot up with the lighting, and then I think my bass player Kyle is the one who was, I gave him a little tutorial on running it, so he was the one doing second camera for me that day.
Oh, okay, cool.
And you know, if you put it on a crane and kind of stabilize it, it makes it a lot easier.
Sure.
To
Absolutely.
work with,
So do you end up doing that pretty much with all your videos, your personal ones, or do you have other people helping you on camera while you're?
In the past, I've hired people to shoot depending on what we were doing. This one was a little bit more simpler, so
Yeah.
I didn't really do that. But in the past, I've got people I've worked with before, like in Jacksonville, that I really like their stuff and they can shoot well, so we'll do it together.
Nice.
But that's been a couple years. But I think next time we do a video, I might do that again.
Like on your Camelot video, that was awesome because you definitely had all these different angles from like on the stage in the back, you know, just the crowd. And I
that
love
was a compilation of like 2 weeks of tour footage.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I went on the road with them in the spring of last year, and I can't remember how many shows it was, but it was East Coast. We did like New York and DC and things like that. And like I shot every show, shot behind the scenes, you know.
It still was
just bounce
awesome how you
around.
put it together.
That was that was a fun thing to put together because it was, I mean, I'm trying to think how much footage it was. It was a good probably like 8 hours footage or something. It was,
had a
lots
lot
of
to
footage
go
for
through.
that. So.
It was a lot. I consumed a lot of coffee on that.
Yeah, no, that's
Definitely.
excellent, man. I've been watching, checking out all your different videos. You got some really good stuff, and I can see the progression that you've made over the years in your filming and stuff like that. And you've definitely become a very excellent filmmaker.
Oh, I appreciate
very,
that.
Very impressed.
Yeah, I mean it's always a learning process. There's still a ton of stuff now. I every time I watch a video I only see what's wrong with it. I can't really enjoy it, unfortunately. So I guess the trick is each video I do is like minimizing like what I would have done differently, and hopefully one day get it to 0. Probably won't happen.
We all do
You're always
that.
going to be your
I know.
worst
So
critic anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and some of the earlier like some of the earlier stuff I did, like the first few ones, I don't even show anybody. But it's a learning process. So
We have some comments too. Barb Meyer said this rocks, and Jessica Morano, she sent a heart. Let me see.
oh, hi Jess.
Natasha said it's a very good song. And New Dilemma, the band that you just did a video for, they said,
my
great
boys.
song, brother. Thomas is a great director and a pleasure to work with. And Vince, how do you say his last name? Churcha? From Tampa
sure.
Bay Music
Oh, Vince.
Network.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah,
what's
yeah.
up,
He
man?
said Thomas is the man.
Nice to see you, Vince.
How do you
Yeah,
pronounce his last
thanks for
name?
watching, Vince. Appreciate you, man.
Sure.
Churcha?
Struggle.
We'll have the pronunciation right
I know.
by next show, I promise. Promise. Very cool.
And David Riley said Tommy Chong spent 2 years in prison, going back to that, in lieu of his son doing time for selling Chong bongs on the internet. Apparently it is
Bongs.
illegal. It's a felony in 3 states to sell paraphernalia on the web. For the life of me, I don't remember which state offhand, but I'll check it out and get back to you.
Cool. Thanks,
Well, I
guys.
mean, I
Laura
appreciate
says,
it,
hey guys.
It's teamwork,
Cool.
guys. Good
Very
job.
cool.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I don't know. I mean, you know, in your lifetime, whether it's this band or other bands, I mean, I'm sure you played a lot of different places, just like a lot of us have. What would you say is like your worst venue or worst gig?
Worst
you've
gig
played?
ever? Oh
Yeah.
boy.
For whatever reason.
So, what year was that? 2009? It was like Marion Crane's like second show ever, It was Valdosta, Georgia.
Oh my gosh.
So, which
used to
is
live there.
we were based out of Jacksonville, so Valdosta was a good 2-3 hours away, and it's our second show. No one knows who we are.
Sure.
Even today, no one knows. But so we drive up there, and this place is it's like an old house that's been converted into a pizza joint, and like I can't remember the name, but it sounded like the name of a club, not a pizza joint. So we get there and we're like, okay, this is going to be interesting. And the stage where they had the shows was upstairs, and this is like an old house, so like these stairs are, you know, about half the width of a normal.
Super thin.
Super thin.
And trying to get all your
we had to
gear up
lug all
there.
this gear upstairs and play in an attic basically.
My bass drum won't even fit upstairs.
For I don't know, they had a PA up there. I guess they had shows regularly, and basically the bands played for each other, and it was it's pretty bad. Every band has a story like that, though.
Yeah, that's
Every
why we ask
single
you,
band.
man.
Were
we
they
wanna
rude,
know.
or was it just the whole setup?
I mean,
Just
they
a
were
weird
nice.
vibe?
It just
The
wasn't.
venue
It's a
wasn't
weird
that
vibe.
cool.
Yeah, you know, I'm not super familiar with Valdosta,
Well, I
but
had
it's
two
not
kids.
exactly huge.
I had two of my kids were born there. I lived there, so I know that we used to call it Valdukeyville. I did too.
That's the only time I've ever been there too. So
shouldn't say that,
it was. But yeah, every band's got stories like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know.
What about the other side of the coin? I mean, what would be one of your favorite gigs that you played?
Oh, favorite. We, well, as far as Marion Crane goes, we did a few shows with Seven Dust that were really good.
Oh, nice.
Up in Jacksonville, those were good gigs. A band I used to be in called Together in Exile, when we played Janus once, it was pretty awesome. It's a great venue.
I actually
Janus,
remember
great
that.
venue.
It's a fantastic venue, and like the stage, like to play that stage is like, as a musician, you're just like, oh yeah, because I mean, like the sound system's fantastic. I can hear every little like everything perfectly clear.
Yeah, it's a really cool outdoor.
Not to
venue.
mention, you know, they actually have professional crew, so it's like for the first time in your life, you're like, oh, I don't have to carry my own gear. So I mean,
Nice.
like, not that I carry gear because I was a singer, but
I did that too.
Do you remember when they changed
Thanks,
it?
singers,
Like,
man.
do you remember when
I
they
got my microphone
remodeled it?
test.
Wasn't
Yeah.
it about
That's why I stopped
2011
playing-
or 12? And it's so nice
that's why I
now.
stopped playing
It's really
drums. I
nice.
was like, I ain't carrying all this crap everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, let's... But
So,
no, I'm kidding. I actually helped out carry gear.
Yeah.
My bandmates will attest.
It
I
might
did.
just been the
I did
sticks,
too.
Not
but
too
I
proud.
grabbed my mic and said, all right, I got my stuff. What about you?
Yeah, I didn't have to bring a mic. You know, you don't have to bring a mic most places. So.
Right.
Well, do
now,
you-
they didn't like, you know, depending on which band I was playing, and I had some place that didn't, like I remember Boomers, who was a sound guy at the time, I don't know, Paisley or something like that, but he's like, you're gonna have to bring your own microphone because the band that I was in at the time, you know, I'm calling my girlfriend at the time saying, I need more fake blood. You know, it's one of those, it was really weird. I mean, the microphone was getting destroyed, supposedly, I don't know, all those blood packets that we were using.
Oh.
But yeah, it was a pretty
Yeah.
crazy time.
I wouldn't let you use my mic then either. I'd be like, destroy your
Surprisingly
own
enough,
mic.
I haven't used a blood pack on stage yet, so I might have to do that.
I've-
Yeah,
I-
you
I
just
mean, I
gave
usually
them
do
an
it
idea.
beforehand.
I've
you
done
know,
the
like,
stupidest, well, I've done a lot of stupid things, but I remember like being out of blood packs, and you know, I took black grease paint out of my kit and just squirted a bunch of that in my mouth, and it might have looked somewhat cool.
Does it taste horrible?
Well, yeah, but the beer and whatever,
It's
you just
dedication.
drink it. The problem was the singing.
oh yeah.
You can't articulate your words because you
Yeah.
You're like,
get
what's
goo in
wrong
your
with
mouth.
him? That's
So
funny.
why don't you tell us a little bit about your music and your background and your music and stuff like that. You said Jacksonville, so are you originally from Jacksonville? Lee?
No, I'm originally from a small town in Ohio. I grew up there. I mean, like one of those, like we had 3 stoplights. It looked like Children of the Corn had been filmed there.
Dry baseboard for population signs.
You know, I grew up there, and
Cedar Point, man.
Cedar
That'd be
Point.
cool,
Cedar
though.
Point's in northern Ohio.
Sandusky.
Yeah,
Sandusky,
this is
Ohio.
like completely southeastern, right on the Ohio River, and
Okay.
so like Cedar Point is like 4 hours away. So growing up there, you know, it's just not very big. There's not much to do, and you know, I started getting, like, no one in my family played a musical instrument. It was actually my best friend at the time. He played guitar, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, like, that he played guitar. And it made me get a drum set. And I was a terrible drummer, but we jammed. I never got any better. So he, however, though, he would leave his guitar at my house, and after a while, I was like, hey, let me pick this thing up. And it came a little more natural, and like I said, it was...
Sounds like an Eddie Van Halen and Alex Van Halen thing.
Well, it was a lot less gear to carry, too, like I said. And so anyway, I started doing that and getting a little bit better at it, but I was still in this, like, really small town, and I was like, I want to get out of here. It's definitely one of those, like, John Hughes movies, like, let me get out of this town. So anyway, my best friend who's responsible for the guitar, he was a year ahead of me in school. He moved out of town. He ended up in Jacksonville, and he was like, hey, if you ever want to come down here and get out of there. And he could have lived anywhere. Like, he could have lived in, pick a city, Dallas, Seattle. It was a city, and it just happened to be Jacksonville. So I moved down there, and I wanted to start a band and do creative things, and there was just, like, I couldn't do that back home. So, yeah, I lived in Jacksonville for 5 years, 6 years, and then moved here about 4 years ago.
You started your first major band situation there?
Yeah, when I got to Jacksonville, I didn't know anybody except my best friend, so it was kind of like, it was an interesting experience being in a new city and not knowing anybody, wanting to start this music project. It was kind of exciting though, like it was like this could be really fun, and
Clean.
I wanted to start a band, and it was funny. I took any job I could find, and to get started. And I got this job at a really seedy motel, like being the desk clerk on the graveyard shift.
Oh no.
Like seedy can be for like $7 an hour.
Oh,
And,
so you're
That made a good movie,
people spread
right?
their seeds?
well,
Sorry.
they did. I didn't clean the rooms, but while I'm working there, I was doing the graveyard shift, and you know, I'm a big like horror movie fan, and I would bring movies to watch. And while I'm working there, I'm like, I want to start this band. I need a name. The name's important. I thought about it for like a month, and then one night while I'm working, I'm watching Psycho, which is still like one of my favorite films of all time, and I'm like, hey, what if I named the band after a character? So that's how Marion Crane, and it was just funny that I was working at a hotel when that happened. So then at that point I was like, okay, we got to find musicians, and I'm very much like the kind of person, like, I hate waiting on people. Like, if I want to do something, like an idea or a song, like, I just do it. So I was like, okay, well, instead of like putting ads out, I'm just going to go record some songs, and then I'll use that to build a band. And that's kind of what I did. I went to, found an awesome producer. He's still in Jacksonville. His name's Stan Martell. I recorded there. I did all the instruments except drums. Actually, Bobby Amaru from Saliva played drums on him. He wasn't in Saliva at the time.
Did you really?
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
I did like a little EP 4-song, and then I put that. This is how old this is. Put that on MySpace. This is like end of '08, I think, and then within like a month, I started putting ads out, and like it's like if you build it, they will come. kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just funny. I was getting like show offers and all this stuff, and I didn't have a band yet. I just like threw all this stuff online, and then we played out for years, and it took a couple years to get like the lineup right.
Yeah.
And anybody in a band will tell you that. It's just, you know,
Sure.
you just got to
It's
find
like
the
a
right.
marriage, it has to work.
It's definitely a marriage, like personality, but also like skill wise and how you work together. And then I found our guitar player Chris in 2010, I think. He's like my older brother now.
Cool.
Nice.
And got Kyle and Brian, our bass player and drummer, in 2012, and we've had the same lineup since.
Well, that's
so
good.
Very cool.
So like when you just start, you know, when did the filming come about? When you start getting into that?
Well, what's funny is back in my small town, I took like a media class when I was in high school, and it was very basic. Like they'd broadcast it at lunch, like 2 news anchors reading about the basketball team and stuff like that. And everyone had a job, run camera or read the news or edit, you know, the thing. So I learned how to edit. That's all I knew how to do, was just piece clips together on a timeline.
Right.
I didn't do anything with it for like 10 years. so I'm in Marion Crane, and we're like, hey, let's do a music video. I know how to edit. I didn't know a thing about anything. I didn't know anything about camera. We had a friend who had a camera who would let us borrow it. I knew nothing about frame rates and lighting and how to do a shot and all this stuff. I knew how to edit. So we did yeah. So we did a video, and it is what it is. And then we did another one. I got a little bit better. And we did another one. I got a little bit better. You know, you kind of figure it out. And
it's neat to see the progression, though, even though your own worst
Do
critic.
you go
but
back
just
and
to
you
see.
ever go back and watch it?
oh, I did about 6 months ago.
just to put it
I was
together
like, let me
and
watch
create.
that video I did 8 years ago,
no.
and I'm like, oh God. In many ways, but as I got better, every now and then I'd have a band come to me and be like, hey, will you do one for us? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. And then I had like a day job at the time, like a regular like office gig, and then more and more it kept happening, and I got better and better, and I just, you know, I obviously enjoy it, and it got to a point. This is funny. It was about a year ago. I got to a point where I was getting a lot of, like, it started out like I do like 2 a year for another band, and then 3 and 4, and so last year, I was contemplating leaving my normal desk day job because I hated it and it wasn't what I wanted to do, and I'd much rather do this film stuff. But I was like contemplating my transition and like trying to figure out money and all this stuff. And then the greatest thing happened to me. I got fired, and
Blessing in disguise. So to
blessing in disguise. I totally got fired from my desk job, and at that point it was like, well, I guess this, you know, this plan's going on a hyperdrive. I'm not looking for another job. I want to do this, and so yeah, I mean, I just went for it after that, and been doing the video thing full time since then.
Very
and
cool.
It was like a weird transition to go from like, you know, getting a normal paycheck to, you know, you gotta like make it happen. But
much more rewarding, though. You know.
yeah, honestly, it really is. You're building something of your own, and you like what you do.
Yeah, the creative process.
So you have any idea how many films that you did last year, if you had to guess?
I did like music videos.
Yeah.
I did, I think 25, 20,
Nice.
somewhere 25, 20.
That keep you pretty
Something like
busy
that.
then. That's good.
Yeah, the last half of the year was really busy. It like kind of gained steam. Like at first, I did like in the first, I'd say 6 months of last year, I did like 4, right? And then it just, we were talking about that Sister Kill Cycle video before the show started. Like after that one, like I really started getting busy, and so I didn't really sleep at all in the last 5 months of 2017.
It's a blur.
But no, it was fine. I'm totally okay with that.
Sure. Great creative process and stuff. It's
Yeah,
always enjoyable.
I get obsessed too. Like I can't just casually work on this stuff. You
You got a passion for it.
Yeah.
you eat, sleep, and breathe. Oh, plus it's like, I don't know. Like I said, I see everything wrong with it, so I feel like I'm always staving off failure. Like I got to make sure this is as good as it can possibly be, and something I would want to release. You know.
Well, you have a high
Sure.
standard for yourself, and that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're still doing the band stuff with Marion Crane?
Occasionally. They all live in Jacksonville. I live here. Personal lives got kind of busy for everyone, and I got busy with the film thing too. So a lot of shoots are on the weekends, and it's a hectic thing. But we do try to get together and release stuff. We actually played a couple gigs last month. One here and one in Jacksonville.
So I was going to say,
And,
if I remember right, you're running yourself ragged. I mean, you know, you're
it was a hell of a
doing
weekend.
something here, and then you're going to practice, do a gig.
I shot,
Jacksonville and back.
that was last month. I did, okay, what did I do? I had to drive to Jacksonville on a Wednesday to practice. I drove to Cocoa Beach to shoot New Dilemma on Thursday. I drove back to Newport Richie on Friday to play a show, went to Jacksonville to play a show, came back here Sunday to shoot,
Crazy.
to shoot Red Calling.
Oh my gosh.
So that was, after that little run, I didn't like get out of bed for about 2 days. So.
You're like, I deserve this.
Yeah, I was like, I'm a glutton for punishment. I do it to myself, but I'd rather stay busy because
Yeah.
I don't really want to be lost in my own head for too long.
So what are some
We
of
all
the
know that.
better bands that you've worked with and videos that you've produced? What's your favorite one out of
Oh, man, that's a tough one. Why you gotta do this to me? I mean,
They're all good in different ways. I'm sure is one.
Yeah, I mean, there's
possible
some great bands and some great music videos
I mean-
and stuff, but which one did you enjoy working on the most?
ooh, enjoy working on. I mean, that's tough. That's tough. I'm gonna totally cop out on some of this. I'm gonna just name a bunch. I had a really good time working on the Sister Kill Cycle video because it was a like me and Raven had like a really good like creative process and coming up with ideas, and it was like a mini movie, and it was about him being a serial killer, so that's right up my alley, and so that was really easy to like want to do, and we did a lot of interesting stuff with drones and underwater footage and fight scenes and things like that. We're actually doing another video here soon, which I can talk about later. That was a real
Sister
fun
Kill
one.
Cycle? Another video, cool.
Man, I mean, I like even some of the videos that are just performance based are really fun. Like I enjoyed working with the Crush Tone guys. That was just a straightforward performance video. I did like a comedic video, sort of a band called Dire Atrophy. That was really funny about a guy who gets obsessed with a video game and gets rage. That was fun to work on. Ooh man, it's tough.
Sean Lowry's show, doing that.
Yeah, that was fun to work on. Sean's very talented. I mean, he does awesome work, and he's I don't know if you're following like his latest stuff he's been posting, but he's got some really cool stuff coming out. He was doing
awesome.
Ministries guitar stand, and
Nice.
yeah, that's actually how I got involved with Camelot, was through Sean's show, because they were the first band on episode 1, and I had shot some interview scenes
What's it called again? Something in Steel. I always forget.
Blood, Sweat, and Steel.
Yeah, Blood, Sweat, and Steel.
Yeah, he's going to be launching that soon.
Yeah.
And the episode 2 is with Queensryche, which we shot. I shot some scenes like
Casey
for that.
Gorillos.
So you did
Yeah,
Todd's
Casey and-
mic stand, right?
Yeah. We know he did Casey's drums.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it looks fantastic, and got to shoot them at like Hamley, and we did some interview stuff. And Casey and Todd were like super cool guys, like the nicest guys you ever meet. And I think he's doing ministry next. So that was a good. That was fun to work on. It was definitely different, like than a music video. It was very. I mean, it's a similar field, but like doing like reality show, like behind the scenes stuff is. It's a little different, but it was fun.
Of course, you did the Camelot, you did War of Thrones.
See, the Camelot thing was funny because at the time when I was shooting, I didn't know it was going to be a music video.
We were just following around and taking
Thomas said, "Hey, you want to go on tour for a few weeks?" And I'm like, "Sign me up."
Right.
So, I mean, I knew I was going to be doing like social media videos for him. That way, they could like while the tour was going on, they could like for the shows later on, like to hype them a little bit, like, oh, this is Louisville.
Sure.
This was New York.
Yeah.
So it started. I did like these like 1.5-minute, 2-minute ones that were sort of music video-y, but like not as quite intense.
Kind of like a teaser.
Yeah, and like show like meet and greets at the towns and pulling into the town, and
Cool.
so I didn't know at the time that I was going to do a music video for it. I just shot all this stuff, and then he was like, "Well, hey, let's turn it into a music video," and I'm like, "Sign me up." So that was good. I mean, the Eve to Adam video was really fun to work on.
I like that one. I like that song a lot.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah.
Taki is I don't know if you guys are familiar with Taki, their singer. He's a really cool guy.
I felt like Scott Stapp a little bit in his face.
I thought a little bit.
And somebody else, an actor.
I really love his voice. That's one thing I've always loved about Eve to Adam. And it was funny because I've been listening to them for like 10 years.
Are they local here, or where are they based out of?
That's a good question. They spend a lot of time here now, so I don't know if they call this their hometown. I know 2 or 3 members live here. But one thing, it was really cool to listen to them when I was just like coming out of high school, and then get to do a video for them. It's just really cool.
Very cool.
One thing I love about that band is he's got a great voice. Like he actually sings. He can sing.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love screaming. I do it occasionally too. But like I love somebody who can hit a melody and like really do it. And so it was really fun to work on. And plus, Jerry and Island are in that band now, and I was in a band with them, so it was fun.
That's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Any plans, any big things coming up for you? You're working on a movie, aren't you?
Well,
Or did
yeah.
you already
Did the
shoot that?
Halloween.
I did a short film last year. It was about 40 minutes long, so it's kind of a long short. That was that's definitely something I've been trending towards getting into, just narrative stuff. And so I'm totally fine with doing music videos, and I'll keep doing them. But I want to get into some bigger things like that. And that was kind of a test run. Let me do something that's like low budget, see if I can do this or not, kind of thing. And we shot it in like 2 days, and then, well, there's a story behind that, but yeah, we shot it in 2 days, finished it over the summer, and then we put it out. We did like a screening for it in October, because it's called Halloween Party, so we did it around Halloween. And
Sure. Cool.
we had a really cool premiere, and a lot of people came out, and it was good. We're gonna put it out on the net soon, like Amazon and iTunes and things like that.
Nice.
So.
Let us know when.
Yeah, definitely.
I have
People
quite
know
a
about
bit
it.
of comments from the people on
Oh,
the
snap.
feed. Let's see. Well, Rosie said that Thomas, you rock. Rosie Rollins.
Oh, hi, Rosie.
And let me see. And Michelle Gandhi said, Thomas is the bomb. I love his film work. He's the bomb. I aspire to be that good.
What's up, Michelle?
And Jessica Morano said, who is your biggest influence for videos and music?
There's a good one, huh?
Yeah.
It's just still one of your questions. Oh, man.
No, I just good.
That's perfectly
man.
good. Yeah.
Which one should I do first? I would say, like, film-wise, big Alfred Hitchcock fan, Quentin Tarantino. David Fincher's probably my favorite director right now. Kubrick. Any Martin Scorsese film's awesome.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson. I mean, I like all the horror guys too. Like, I'm a big John Carpenter fan, and
Yeah.
Wes Craven. And,
Romero.
Romero. Yeah.
Romero
Like,
before
I grew up
CGI.
watching. Oh yeah, I mean, and that stuff was creepier and better. Like, you know, the "Kill the Undead" song that Marion Crane did is like a letter to Romero. Like, thank you for being awesome and creating this genre.
Yeah, I love how
So-
how'd you get away with using the footage?
It's funny about that. Night of the Living Dead is public domain.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah, what happened was, this is 1968. It was originally called Night of Anubis, which is a terrible title.
Yeah, I don't like it.
So at the last minute, they changed it to Night of the Living Dead, but before they released it, they didn't update their paperwork. So when it got released, it immediately became public domain.
Really?
So all these
I didn't
eaters
realize that.
could just show it, and you can still show it. It's shown in a lot of movies because you can get
Right.
it's public domain.
Right.
They've since
So
fixed
that's
that
how
law.
it ends up in all the different movies.
I actually
and
put it
stuff.
in that Sister Kill Cycle video. I don't know if anybody noticed that.
Yeah.
When he's in the hotel, it's Night of the Living Dead's in the background. Just
Yeah.
because.
Cool.
I saw
Cool.
that. Well,
Night of the Living Dead.
there's a few more people. Michelle Gandhi said, thanks for the interview, Todd. And Kyle Munford said, was that beach shoot the worst? Haha.
Oh, Kyle. Kyle's the bass player for Marion Crane. He's also in a band called Ghost Witch, and I did a video for them a couple years ago at a beach, like noon. And I'm obviously not attuned to sunlight. So that was a struggle.
interesting.
But that was a struggle. But hey, you know, you gotta sometimes you gotta go
suck
where
it up, man.
Suck it up and
Funny.
man up and hit record.
So to answer the question, what are your musical influences?
Musically, like the first band that ever really like I fell in love with head over heels was Nirvana. I was about 14. I wouldn't have like became a musician if it hadn't been for them. After that, it was like Sabbath and like darker kind of stuff. I still love like industrial stuff like Nine Inch Nails, and like, you know, I went through a huge phase of loving Marilyn Manson, and I went through a Ghost phase, and then I would say like those were probably the biggest. As far as singers go, like you know, Jim Morrison is a huge
Definitely.
influence.
Oh, writer.
Yes. Scott Weiland was a hell of a front man. Obviously, Freddie Mercury is the greatest front man of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that
So
movie.
I like what I like about a lot of those people is they're not afraid to be weird and unique and just go with the flow.
Yeah, and be
like a lot of
themselves.
people are very self-conscious and they put an act on, and it's like,
Right,
come
right.
on. I mean, whatever. But I like weird people. So
Yeah.
We
That's a
have
good
quite a
thing,
few people. I mean, wanna go through it real quick?
Anybody else have any questions
Well,
for Thomas while he's here?
Yeah,
Fire away.
Michelle Gandhi,
Now's the time.
she wanted to know, she said, I just joined, maybe it was covered, what are his film aspirations?
Oh boy. Well, the goal right now is I did that short, and the next goal is I want to do a feature, do a full length, because it's very, with a short, it's at a weird running length. You can't really get distribution.
Sure.
And
Does it have to be a certain length, or?
Well, to get
It has to be
distribution,
90 minutes to be considered a full feature.
yeah, they
film,
want
right?
to. Companies, they want a feature film. They want something long enough that they, either put in theaters or put on Netflix and things like that.
Sure.
So now that I've kind of done that, the next goal is to do a movie. I'm really trying to do one this year. So I have like 10 ideas for movies, and I've narrowed it down to like 2 or 3. And I really gotta I've got like 2 or 3 scripts like half done, and I gotta like pick one and just finish it and zero in.
Cool.
I tend to get distracted.
Nail it down.
So once that's done, which will hopefully be within the next month or so or 2, it's get the money and let's do this. And I mean, ultimately, I would love to do what, have the Rob Zombie experience.
Yeah.
He does a movie, does an album and tours, does a movie, does an album and tours. That's like the life.
Sure.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
So that'd be fantastic.
Well, Natasha asked if you're ever going to tour Canada, because she's from Canada. She's like, wait, all this good music's here. Come.
I wish.
You can come down here to Florida.
if
It's
we
much
ever-
more.
Yeah, come to Florida.
If we ever do Canada, you'll be the first to know. I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And Zachary Barrett said, I bet you're drinking black coffee.
I've had about 10 cups today.
That's
so.
funny. And Michelle said, thanks. Hi, Thomas. I'm a huge fan. We will knock fists someday. And Jay from Crush Jones said, pleasure working with Thomas on our video he did with us for a single prophecy.
Yeah.
Crush Jones. Lisa
That was-
Dew says, great interview. And
Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate you watching. Thanks for everybody who's watching.
Yes.
And so we're
That's
going to close out this segment. And first, though, I got one last question for you. If you could have made any film out there, if you could have been the one to have done that film, which one would it have been?
So it's not like my #1 favorite movie of all time, but if I could have done any movie of all time, it would have been Jaws.
Oh, wow.
Because it's a perfect movie, and Steven Spielberg was 28 when he did it, which just blows my mind.
Wow.
And no one can go in the ocean without thinking
No.
I
about
know,
that
right?
movie.
Right.
I would have loved to have that effect
1976.
on every single person in the world.
Yeah, you got to think about it. That's an amazing effect
somebody-
to have on.
Yeah, somebody. What was the quote? I can't remember which filmmaker said it, but he was like, "Yeah, like people who do movies, they want to influence people, but Jaws scarred people." Like, I'd like to have that effect. That
And
like
they
that
have
would
quotes
be.
from movies, that are common knowledge in the household, like, you're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah. And
That's cool.
I could talk Jaws all day. Like, Quint's Indianapolis speech is my favorite film scene of all time. I slammed 2 torpedoes into our side, Chief. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's an excellent movie.
So-
Actually, I do have one other question for you
Oh,
before
boy.
we roll on. That was an all-star band. If you could put together the ultimate all-star band with anyone alive or dead, and you playing in that band, who would it be?
Like, what am I playing? Like, tambourine?
You can do anything.
Whatever
This
instrument
is
you
your
want to
band.
be. If
'Cause
you
what
wanna
I'm
be
gonna do-
singer, you want to be
play
guitar
tambourine
player.
if you want.
Yeah, because what I'm going to do is fill it with a bunch of like awesome people and play like cowbell, and so I don't have to.
Perfectly fine, man. If that's
Put some
if
distortion on
that's
that
your choice
cowbell.
of
Oh,
music,
man.
Gonna make an
of
industrial cowbell
instrument
sound.
for that
I
band.
think if I was going to like sing and jam with some people, I would love to like, I'd have like Dave Grohl on the drums and probably like John 5 playing guitar. Like that
Cool.
would be,
Oh,
Nice combo.
like those are probably like my 2 biggest or favorite, I guess, musicians as far as those 2 instruments are concerned. So I still haven't got I got to meet John 5 once. That was really sweet.
He's pretty cool.
He was super nice.
Nice.
Honestly, I think he's an underrated guitar player.
Oh, he
Yeah, I
really
think
is.
so,
I mean,
too.
a lot of people
Yeah.
haven't even heard like his solo stuff. And
Super versatile. His
Oh,
solo
yeah.
stuff's insane. He started out touring with what's the country band?
And that he did like a lot of chicken picking and stuff.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
started touring.
incorporates that to heavy
Oh
metal.
god,
and
it
stuff.
was like Miranda Lambert or somebody. Like,
Really? I didn't
maybe
realize
not
that.
her, but like this
yeah.
is before he
Oh,
joined.
somebody like
This is before he was in Marilyn Manson. He was playing. He played on. I think he played on some. Was it Sammy Hagar records or something? I don't know. He's done a lot.
Yeah.
Look up his
know
discography, and your mind will be blown.
Yeah, Johnny Five.
Yeah,
I
Johnny
just,
Five.
I just have a couple more things. The chat room's been pretty active. Michelle Gandhi said, "Thanks, Thomas. Let me know. I can be crew. I love to work under the master second camera." And pretty much
Hey,
everyone,
Michelle's good.
everyone else is like saying, "Great interview. They enjoyed it."
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thanks
that.
for tuning in, guys.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. So it's time to dive into the crowd, and we're going to hang out with the fans a little bit, and we're going to check out our show poll. So let's check it out.
So we had a poll this week that, that's a tough one for some people, easier for others. Being a guitar player, who do you think is better, Joe Satriani or Steve Vai?
What a great combination put
Yeah,
up
I mean-
against each other, too.
Well, yeah, Joe Satriani has taught a lot of people from, Kurt Hammett to, obviously Steve Vai.
Right.
As far as the poll goes, we're close. We're real close. As a matter of fact, I think
Well-
it's just about to end. I'm gonna have to refresh this thing here.
So do you, Tom? Who's
Who
your
do you-
favorite?
who do you think's better out of
Which
those
one do you
two,
think's better,
being a
Joe
guitar
Satriani
player?
or Steve Vai?
Man, I am the wrong person to ask this question because I
Everybody's
am
got
the
an
most
opinion.
technically inept guitar player of all time, and my bandmates will totally back that up. So,
And they're both pretty technical.
like I am. Oh man.
Oh, which one would be your favorite of the two?
So who we got again?
Wow.
Joe Satriani
Satriani.
and
No,
Steve
I'm saying
Vai.
wow
I'm
because I
joking.
saw the results.
Yeah.
I'm like, man.
Not as
I
close as you
mean,
thought.
I'm gonna. I probably listen to Steve Vai more. I don't know if that means. I'm gonna go that way. I'll go Steve Vai.
Cool.
You know,
How about you, D? Yeah.
I was gonna say Joe Satriani, but
It's all right. It's your opinion. You're welcome to it and stuff. Personally, I met Steve, and Steve told me once that him and Joe used to sit in their basement and sit back to back with their guitars and make their guitars talk to each other. Back in the day when Joe was teaching him and stuff, which was pretty cool. I've actually met Joe as well, but they're both phenomenal guitar players. Incredible. There's no denying it. You can't say one is. It's tough to say which one's better
Right.
overall.
I mean, it's kind of different.
Joe's
styles.
probably one of the most technically musical guitar players out there, as far as like knowing the instrument and really knowing the chords and the modes and all that kind of stuff on the instrument. He's just such an incredible knowledge of that, and his stuff actually is a little bit more on the musical side.
Yeah.
I think the more feeling, whereas Steve's goes more towards the bizarre and the weird and the fun, which again, that's just, they're two different styles, but they're both absolutely incredible. I gotta say, that's a tough one, man. I'm gonna go with, but I go with Steve Vai. Steve's just, he's probably the one that's taken the guitar to a whole new universe compared to any other guitar player that's ever survived. That's
good
ever
way to
been
put it.
alive.
Jeff said dime bag over Joe and Steve.
Yeah, whenever.
Dime's not
Chris
in this
Oliva.
poll, but he will be
put,
eventually.
you know what? We'll put Dime against somebody. We may need some ideas because that's going to be a tough one
You're
too.
gonna equally match them up there.
Yeah,
so like dime,
absolutely.
like what you can do, like
Try.
dime versus like.
I know because somebody's going
Trying to think
probably
who-
get their
who
butt
would be
whipped.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Who are we going to figure
Yeah.
that
Zach
one out?
Wilde.
You know?
That'd
So-
be a hard one
That's why
because
Joe
they were
and Steve are
friends.
good because they fit.
It's a
you
it's
know?
a good pairing.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a lot of an evenly matched.
So listen, I mean,
I already know yours.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, I got into playing guitar. Actually, was playing bass, and my cousin Paul ended up getting somebody signed him up for one of those all these albums you get for a penny or whatever, and they sent him this
gosh,
stuff. He didn't
yeah.
order it, so we got to keep them.
My mom made me
That was the
take those
deal.
back.
So I mean, I saw, you know, it was
Club of the
Van
Month.
Halen, Van Halen, the first one. I heard Eruption. I mean, there's, you know, really in my life, from what I can remember, anyways, that was like one of the first instrumentals that I heard.
Yeah, me too.
Immediately, you know, but immediately I put the bass down, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do, you know.
So it made me want to play guitar.
Made a good choice.
But well, you know, knowing what I know now, since there's not as much people doing that crazy stuff, I didn't know about Billy Sheehan at the time. You know, maybe I should have stuck with bass. But I mean, the thing is Steve Vai, he put out Passion and Warfare, which in my opinion is one of the most awesome instrumentals. That CD of all time is just absolutely amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Vai, as far as I'm concerned, it's like sound fireworks. I mean, you don't know what's coming next. You know, he will take what some people would consider a wrong note and make it right.
Yeah, very true.
You know, Satriani, yes, it's all about, you know, it's all about feel, and it's very melodic, and, you know, surfing with the Alien, and, you know, he, you know, even did some singing. What was that? Full Moon Rise? I can't remember right off the hand. But I mean, you know, Steve Vai, I've seen him play at G3 with Satriani. You know, and Todd and I had the pleasure of seeing him for the first time, and then this was last year. Actually played Passion and Warfare, the whole CD, and I mean,
Yeah,
it was note for note. It was amazing, and I'll
25th
be
year
honest with
anniversary
you.
of that, yeah.
I had tears in my eyes. I'm not really sure why. It was just so awesome, and I mean, it brought back all these memories, and so I mean, I don't think you guys probably even want to guess as to who I prefer, but yes, it is Steve Vai, and for the poll results, we ended up, Steve Vai did win, and this is a landslide, guys. It's probably the biggest landslide poll we had.
Yeah.
67% Steve Vai compared to 33% Joe
Wow.
Satriani.
I was totally wrong.
Dan Satrowski, your comment about Steve Vai playing a lot of effects. Here's the thing, man. Steve Vai, again, being like a space-age guitar player and all this weird stuff, sound fireworks, like I said, you know, this guy will play feedback as a note. I mean, if anybody's seen this guy in concert, you're just amazed at how he owns the instrument. But me personally, I'll tell you what, if you put both of them unplugged, Joe Satriani, I love you to death, brother, but I think Steve Vai will smoke you. That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Jay says, "Don't cry, Scott."
I won't cry. I mean, it won't be the first or last time, I guess.
Yeah,
but
it was
no,
definitely a
amazing.
great poll. You got
It
any
was
ideas
amazing.
what we're doing for the next one? You got that
You know,
lined up yet?
I got a couple things that we're thinking about, but you know, with the players that we have coming in, the football players, I think that's going to change the poll up a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to go some sport-related, football-related.
You know,
Poll.
we're going to incorporate you know, music obviously into it too, but you know, with the big game coming up, and you know, the guests that we have,
Yeah.
it's going to probably be you know, football related. So you know, you guys you know, vote on it, and you're going to have to check in tomorrow. Well, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet, but by tomorrow I should have something. Yeah, it's a surprise.
Surprise.
For even me.
Speaking
So,
of which, along with, you know, the football players we got coming in, the Super Bowl champions next week, we got a special performance that'll be at the end of the show from Sean Brown, who is the organist for the Blues
nice.
Brothers.
Oh,
He
good.
came in here to the studio,
Nice.
and downstairs we have this 1911 piano that survived Germany in World War II. It's from Paris,
Crazy.
and from France, rather, a small place in France. The owner's grandfather owned it, and the great story. We'll tell you more about that next week and stuff, so you want to stick around for that. It survived the SS. You know,
Yeah.
which is
That's
pretty
Crazy.
insane.
insane.
It's beautiful.
Character
And
on
it
that.
is
Yeah.
a beautiful piano, and Sean
Beautiful
Brown came here in
sound.
the studio, played it, and we recorded that, and we'll be playing some of that for you next week. So, then speaking of performances, my man Thomas Crane here is going to perform right here in the studio in just a second. So we're going to roll into the spotlight. Tom's going to be performing for us in just a moment here, but before he does, we got another video that we're going to play from you from Marion Crane. So you want to check this out. This is Kill the Undead. We spoke about it a little bit sooner here, and check it out.
The Survival Command Center at the Pentagon has disclosed that a ghoul can be killed by a shot in the head or a heavy blow to the skull. Kill the brain, and you kill the ghoul.
I'm gone 5 minutes and the world is ending. Flesh-eating corpses, the dead have risen. But there's a God to survive the end times for you. And bang, 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 then you watch it burn. The Molotov cocktails are drink of choice. Let go of the past, 'cause bullets are our best friends now. Help me, blood out the windows. Death is at hand. Make a stand and kill the undead. There's nowhere to go, and the malls are all closed. Aim for the head, grab your gun and kill the undead. Tick, tick, tock, you know the clock will kill us. Not paranoid, I'm just efficient, 'cause other people are now the enemy too. And bang, 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 it's a brand new world when there's no room in hell, the devil walk the earth. Make a run for it, a way to come to a die. Help me, blood out the windows. Death is at hand. Make a stand and kill the undead. There's nowhere to go, and the malls are all closed. Aim for the head, grab your gun and kill the undead.
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder. The unburied dead are coming back to life.
So there's no misunderstanding. You've been bit, and we can have that. You know what I gotta do now. Nowhere to go, nowhere to go. I guess it means we're gonna have to kill them all. Yeah, death is at hand. Make a stand and kill the undead. There's nowhere to go, and the malls are all closed. Aim for the head, grab your gun and kill the undead. Bang, 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 then you watch it burn. The Molotov cocktails are drink of choice. You know what I gotta do now. You gotta aim for the head, aim for the head, aim for the head. Kill the undead.
If you had a gun, shoot him in the head. That's a sure way to kill him. If you don't, get yourself a club or a torch. Beat him or burn him. They go up pretty easy. 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 Go up.
So that was Kill the Undead by Marion Crane from Thomas Crane, and obviously a homage to Night of the Living Dead there, no question about that, which is pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
You know, I could tell lyrically that was a total homage to that as well, so yeah.
Right.
Definitely can tell you're inspired by that. So you're going to perform for us now. What are you going to play?
I'm actually I'm gonna play a song called "Illegitimate." This is like the first Marion Crane song I ever recorded, so I figured it was kind of fitting. So
Cool, man. Appreciate that. So we got Thomas Crane performing live here in the studio for us. Enjoy it.
Return to see, breathe into me. down, yeah. The silence surrounds us in our heads. We're on the brink, she said. We're one and the same, waiting for the pain. Come down and rain on the parade. Alive inside, dead Martian. Return to sea, breathe into me, fill me up until I come undone. Alive inside, burn the scars, our time has come. Return to sea, breathe into me, fill me up until I come undone. Yeah, we are all legitimate children of an illegitimate world. We're one and the same, waiting for the pain. Come down and rain on the parade. Alive inside, dead in my hand. Return to sea, breathe into me, fill me up until I come undone. Alive inside, burn the scars, our time has come. We must get oxygen to the brain. Our time is, where's now at hand. Bearing our scars, pass down to me. Spiral all the way. We are illegitimate. We are illegitimate. Return to sea, breathe into me, fill me up until I come undone. Alive inside, burn the scars, our time has come. Oh, we must get oxygen to the brain. Our time is, where's now at hand.
Yeah.
Woo!
Nice, brother.
Awesome. That was good.
That was really good, brother. Thank you
Aw.
very much. That's killer.
Thank you.
So,
Beautiful.
why don't you tell the people where they can find out more about you and your videos, check out your other videos and stuff that you've done.
Everything is pretty much on killDevilFilms.com. Go there. There's links and a list of stuff that's going on. I keep the social media pages very active, so we're on Facebook at killDevilFilms, and we're on Instagram at killDevilFilms. So, like almost every day, I got something posting and staying active, behind the scenes stuff, you know, all that goodies. And,
All that good jazz.
Good,
and-
good.
Cool.
Yeah, I try to like keep that active, but it also it helps promote the bands I work with. So I
Sure.
make sure whoever I'm working with, you know, check these guys out, give them a like, give them a follow. So I think it's very important. Yeah.
Very cool. That's awesome, man. Thanks so much for being
Yeah,
here
thank
tonight. We
you.
really appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for performing, and thanks for letting us play your great videos and stuff, and all your great music, and appreciate that. I also want to say thank you to Bake More Pies for this awesome facility and the opportunity to be able to bring this show to you. If it weren't for them, this wouldn't be happening. And we have a beautiful studio here that's available for filming, and also if you want to do a show, the studio is available for
There's the
anybody out there for
space.
that. You can contact at bakemorepies.com. And don't forget, our next show next week is going to be some really great NFL playoff games coming up this weekend. I mean, this last weekend anyway. Sorry, Jay, the Cowboys lost.
Oh no.
Well,
Championship games are set to go off this Sunday and determine who's going to the big game. At the NFC game at 3:05 with the Los Angeles Rams and New Orleans Saints. Go Saints. I'm rooting for them. AFC game at 6:40, the New England Patriots and the Chiefs. And I'm saying Saints and Chiefs would be a really cool one this year. So with that happening, of course, and football season coming to an end, the big game being the first Sunday of February. Next Tuesday, the 22nd, we're going to be having a very special super show with a couple of Super Bowl champions we told you about earlier right here in the studio with us. My very good friend Earl Christie played in Super Bowl III, the Super Bowl III champion New York Jets with Joe Namath. And Earl likes to say that Joe played with him, which is cool. And former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Michael Clayton, who is also with the Super Bowl 46 champion New York Giants. They're going to be here in the studio. They're going to be talking about the differences between back then and now, and all the changes that have happened in the NFL and everything like that. We're going to discuss with them, their personal preferences on music and things like that as well. And of course, at the end of the show, as we mentioned, we're going to have Sean Brown, who's the organist from the Blues Brothers. He's going to be doing a performance and stuff. We did a performance here in the studio, and we'll be playing that for you. He's fantastic. He said that piano was by far the most amazing and beautiful piano he's ever played in his life. So
Very cool.
It's very cool.
so also we got coming up on the 29th, have an awesome singer, guitar player, Gary Shutt. He'll be here in the studio with us, and I believe he's going to be playing live for us, isn't he?
We're going to be
Pretty sure of that.
trying to make sure he does, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Be sure to tune in for that. That's going to be a great show. Also, be sure to visit our webpage, thesoundeffectshow.com, where you can see show replays. Visit our social media page.
And
be
like
sure
us
to add
and subscribe on YouTube.
Oh yeah, like, subscribe, all that fun, wonderful stuff, and to help keep this going. I mean, we appreciate you guys all for watching and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely.
you.
So thanks so much for watching. We're going to be closing out the show tonight with another video that our man Thomas did, and this one is from our friend, as you've seen him here in the studio a few times, Wade Black, and his band War of Thrones, and the video is called Say What. That'll be scrolling here in just a second.
And
but,
thank you to the
thanks
chat
again, Tom.
room,
Thank
too.
you so
Everybody in
much.
the chat
Yes.
room for asking questions.
Thank you very much
Yeah.
for watching us, and we will see you on our next show. Appreciate you.